3 SWAT members.
We could see a dark figure moving around behind the windshield. We see the bullet holes in the windshield. We don't know what it is until at the very last moment, right about here, Emil gets out of his car and he's looking right at us.
The 3 SWAT officers pull their car in at an angle, giving themselves good cover. Mata Serrano stands at the front of his vehicle with the abandoned truck between them.
You can definitely tell he's got body armor because he's big and bulky, ski mask, and he has his M16 with a double drum magazine on it.
That means Mata Serrano has as many as 200 rounds. This could be a long firefight. For nearly 2 minutes, the battle rages, M16 against M16.
I'm literally coming over the back of the police car trying to put rounds at where I hear the suspect shooting from. So what I do is I come down, I prone out, and I lay straight down on the ground. And now I'm able to see, just a matter of a few feet away, the suspect's feet.
Officer Massa fires underneath the car. He hits Mata Serrano in the ankle. He goes down, and the cops swoop in.
I come over, I take the ski mask off the suspect. He looks up to me and looks in my eyes and says, "Why don't you just put a bullet through my head?" And I look at him and I said, "It's not gonna happen."
Mata Serrano later died from injuries sustained during the firefight. Fortunately, despite more than 1,300 rounds being fired, the 2 gunmen were the only fatalities.
This is why the department now have M16s, which is a good thing.
Today, the M16 is an essential component for the nation's SWAT teams, major police units, and other law enforcement. The M16, designed for war, but will a deadly flaw keep this revolutionary weapon off the battlefield?
When you pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen.
Since its introduction a half-century ago, over 8 million M16s have been delivered to American troops around the globe. This is the defining gun for U.S. soldiers. But what is it about the M16 that has made it the ultimate weapon of America's warriors? To understand just how revolutionary the M16 truly is, you have to go back more than 50 years. After World War II, the U.S. military became convinced that long-range set-piece rifle fights were a thing of the past. Warfare in the future was going to be fought by smaller, more mobile teams and at much closer range. The Army knew they needed a lightweight weapon that could throw off a lot of rounds on a target in a hurry, but still have the power to punch through helmets and body armor.
You have a much more mobile battlefield. And because it was a mobile battlefield, you had to get a lot of lead on the target.
If you've got a platoon that can fire an automatic mode, they can suppress a wider array of enemies. They're putting more rounds downrange.
The weapon issued to most combat troops in the Korean War was the M1, semi-automatic and weighing in at more than 13 pounds. The M1 was fighting its last war. It was time for something new. The first candidate to replace the venerable M1 was the M14.
The M14 is really nothing more than a modified M1. The big difference is a 20-round magazine.
A magazine holding heavyweight 7.62 millimeter bullets.
If you hit somebody with this at 500 yards, you got to knock them down.
While the M14 had mega stopping power, a full load of ammo was just too heavy to carry. Everything about the gun was heavy, from its wood and steel body to its kick.
One of the problems with the M14, although it is a good rifle, is the recoil.
Post-war automatic rifles, like the M14 and Russian-built AK-47, cycle the bullets using a piston-driven mechanism. When the trigger's pulled, a spring-loaded firing pin pushes into the bullet's primer. An explosion of gas then sends the bullet down the barrel.
Some of the gas, though, is going to be diverted back up in here, and it's going to come back this way, and as the gas hits a piston that's in here, the piston is going to cause the bolt to come to the rear. When it gets to the back, it's going to go back forward, strips off another round, and you're ready to go again.
And that piston-powered return generates a lot of recoil, meaning that you're probably off target by your second round.
When firing fully automatic with this, it's difficult to control.
It seemed like an impossible mission. Build an automatic weapon that was light enough to be easily handled, but powerful enough to blast through a steel plate. To do it would require a breakthrough in the design of assault rifles. Enter Eugene Stoner. A retired Marine and aircraft engineer, Stoner worked with the breakthrough materials of the day: aluminum alloys, fiberglass, and other composites. And it was this knowledge of aerospace engineering that led him to a revolutionary design that would become the military's new automatic weapon.
He started using a revolutionary concept of using aircraft engineering principles in firearms.
In 1957, Stoner submitted a bold new design for an automatic rifle. It would be called the M16.
It's a precursor to the M16. As you can see, it's got a lot of wood and a lot of steel, making it considerably heavy. It's roughly 12 pounds. Here's our M16. It's made of aluminum receiver and plastic composite forearm and stock, making it considerably lighter, roughly 9 pounds loaded.
Not only was the gun lighter, its smaller cartridge, the 5.56 millimeter, also meant for a lighter load in the field. Soldiers could carry twice the number of rounds, which would prove critical in the sustained firefights of modern combat.
As you can see the differences between the two. You can carry more rounds with the 5.56 compared to the 7.62 by 51.
And the lighter weight was just the beginning. Unlike the M14, Stoner's weapon had no piston. It used a direct impingement gas mechanism. The bolt is pushed directly back by the gases. And since the bolt isn't being jostled around by a piston, it returns faster, which means the M16 can fire faster. A lot faster. More than 800 rounds a minute at full auto. Best of all, the M16's gas system produced very little recoil.
Recoil is considerably less, so you get more actual rounds downrange and also more accurate with those rounds.
Lightweight, accurate, and a fast firing rate. The military thought they had their gun. Can soldiers really use it?
Platoon, up to you. Right, boy, drill sergeant.
Fort Jackson, South Carolina, boot camp for the U.S. Army. Over 7 long weeks, these green troops are molded into soldiers. And a crucial part of that preparation is training on the M16.
You effectively, Group A0, your assigned weapon, Rock Force.
About 120 of them will be firing for the first time, 4 rounds.
Fire, move forward to your weapon and take a knee.
To pass the drill, these soldiers have to put 4 out of 6 shots in a grouping no bigger than 4 centimeters.
Every single shot's inside that 4-centimeter circle.
If they miss, it's back to square one.
You're